Let me paint you a picture. It's 9 p.m. on a Thursday. You're finally sitting down after a long day on the job site. You pick up your phone, and there it is. A text from a client. Not an emergency, not even close to an emergency. Just a question that could absolutely wait until tomorrow morning, but somehow couldn't wait until tomorrow morning.
Why? Why can't we just wait until tomorrow?
And so you answer it because, well, you always answer it. Because somewhere along the line, answering it became the expectation. And now you're sitting here wondering why your clients think you're available around the clock. Well, I've got some bad news. They think that because you taught them to think that.
Oh, so this is all my fault?
But there's good news too, and that is that you can unteach it too. Welcome back to Built for Two, CEO Edition. Well, hey there. I'm Kimberly Ferguson, CEO and founder of The Emerald Edge. And we help contractor couples like you build profitable businesses where the clients respect the process. So the only thing following you home at the end of the day is your dog. Over the last few videos, we've talked about getting clear on your standards and expectations, building a delegation structure that works, and creating a monthly money meeting that keeps you and your spouse on the same financial page.
Right.
So today, we're turning our attention outward to your clients. Because here's the truth that nobody wants to say out loud. Most client boundary problems are not client problems. They're systems problems. And the system, or lack thereof, starts with you. And if you've ever felt frustrated by a client who constantly pushes your timelines, questions your process, or treats your personal cell phone like a 24-hour helpline, well, this video is going to get a little uncomfortable. But it's also going to be really, really useful. Let's get into it.
I'm gonna need all the help I can get.
Nobody starts a contracting business thinking, I'd sure love to be available to clients at all hours, renegotiate my scope on every project, and spend half my time managing people who don't actually respect my process. That's not the dream.
That's the last thing I want.
But here's how it happens. You land a new client. You want to make a great impression. So you respond quickly. You're flexible. You accommodate the last minute request. You let the scope creep just a little because it's easier than having the conversation. And the client is happy. So it felt like the right call, right?
Well, it sounded good at the time.
Except now you've established a pattern. And patterns become expectations. And expectations, as we talked about a few videos back, become the invisible rules your business runs on, whether you intended them to or not. The client isn't being unreasonable. They're just operating based on the experience that you created for them. And if that experience included unlimited access, flexible boundaries, and a scope that moved every time they pushed, well, that's the business relationship that you built. The frustrating part is that most contractor couples don't realize this is happening until they're deep enough into it that changing course feels risky.
Yeah, there's no one going back now.
What if the clients get upset? What if they leave a bad review? What if they walk away? Those are real fears. But here's a question worth asking. What is it costing you to keep operating this way?
They cost me everything.
In time, in stress, in margin, and in the toll it takes on your relationship with your spouse when client chaos follows you home every night.
Can't take it anymore!
So let's get practical, because set better boundaries is advice that sounds great and means nothing without specifics. Client boundaries in a contracting business fall into three categories.
It's as easy as 1, 2, 3.
First, communication boundaries. This is the 9 p.m. text problem. When are you available? Through what channels? What constitutes an actual emergency versus something that can wait until business hours? These things need to be defined and communicated, ideally before the project starts, not after the client has already texted you 17 times on a Sunday.
Oh, stop texting me.
A simple communication standard might look like this. We respond to client messages within one business day, Monday through Friday, between 8 a.m. and 5 p.m. Emergencies, meaning something that poses a safety risk or will cause significant project delay, can be called in directly. Everything else goes through the project management system. That's not cold, that's professional. And most clients, good clients, will respect it.
Really? It's that simple?
Then we have scope boundaries. Scope creep is one of the biggest profit leaks in contracting, and it almost always starts with a small, seemingly harmless request. While you're at it, could you just...
It's just one small thing.
Famous last words, am I right? Every change to the original scope, no matter how small, needs to go through a defined process, a change order, a revised timeline, a conversation about cost. Not because you're being difficult, but because your business runs on accurate job costing, and every undocumented change is money walking out the door.
I'm never going to see that £20 again.
We actually covered this in detail in our Hidden Profit Leaks content, so if you haven't seen that, it's worth a watch.
I might need to refer to it later.
And then we have timeline boundaries. Your project timeline is not a suggestion. And when clients delay, late document submissions, slow approvals, last-minute changes, well, these delays have real consequences for your schedule, your crew, and your other clients. Your contracts should spell out exactly what happens when a client causes a delay. Not in a threatening way, but just in a clear, professional, this is how we operate kind of way. Because when it's in writing from the beginning, it's not confrontation. It's just the process.
How kind of you to phrase it in that very respectful manner.
So, how do you actually implement this? Especially if you're mid-relationship with clients who are already kind of used to operating without these boundaries. Well, you use what I call the SET framework. So S is state it clearly, E is embed it in your process, and T is train your clients from day one.
Set.
So first, state it clearly. You cannot enforce a boundary you never communicated. So the first step is simply saying it out loud, in writing, before the project begins. This happens in your client onboarding, your contract, your welcome communication, your kickoff conversation. All of it should clearly outline how you work.
Yeah, I want to be very clear.
When you're available, how changes are handled, what the timeline expectations are on both sides. And here's the key. State it matter-of-factly, not apologetically, not defensively, just clearly, the way you'd explain any other professional process. Here's how we handle communications on our projects. Here's our process for scope changes. Here's what we need from you and by when. Confident, clear, professional. That's the tone. And you're setting it.
Just have to accept that.
Next, we want to embed it into your process. So stating it once is not enough. It needs to be built into how your business actually operates, not just said at the beginning and then quietly abandoned the first time a client pushes back. That means your contract reflects it. Your project management system enforces it. Your invoicing process supports it. Your team knows it and operates accordingly. When the boundary is embedded in every process, it stops being a personal preference and starts being just how things work. And that makes it a lot easier to uphold because you're not the one enforcing it every time. The system is. And then train your clients from day one. This one is the one that most people miss. Client boundaries aren't just about what you say. They're about what you do consistently from the very first interaction. If you say respond within 1 business day and then respond within 10 minutes every time, well, you've trained your client to expect 10-minute responses. If you say scope changes go through a change order process and then you let 3 small ones slide, you've trained your client that the process is optional. You train your clients whether you mean to or not. So the question is whether you're training them intentionally or accidentally.
Yeah, there's no one going back now.
Every time you uphold your process, you reinforce it. Every time you make an exception without acknowledging it as an exception, you erode it. Consistency is the whole game here, the whole game. And for contractor couples especially, you both need to be training clients the same way. Because if one partner holds the line and the other is making exceptions all the time, The client will quickly figure out which one of you to call, and that creates tension, not just with the client, but between the two of you.
They cost me everything.
Now, maybe you're watching this and thinking, this is great for new clients, but what about the ones I already have? You kind of mentioned those. The ones who've already been texting me at 9 p.m. for 2 years. Fair question. And the honest answer is it's harder, but it's not impossible. You don't overhaul everything overnight. You make a shift and you communicate it. Something as simple as we head into our next project together, we've made some updates to how we manage client communication and project timelines. So here's what that looks like going forward. Most reasonable clients will adapt. Some might push back initially, and a small number might not be the right fit for your business that you're trying to build, right? And that's okay too, because the clients who respect your process are the ones who make your business sustainable. The ones who don't are the ones who quietly drain it.
Can't take it anymore!
So this week, I want you and your spouse to sit down and answer 3 questions together. What are our communication standards for our clients? And are they written down? That's important. We have to have them written down, right? What is our process when a client requests a scope change? And does every client know what that process is? And what does our onboarding experience actually communicate about how we operate? If the answer to any of those feel fuzzy, well, that's your starting point. Pick one, tighten it up before your next project kicks off. And if you look at your client onboarding process and you realize it's less of a process and more of a, well, we kind of figure it out as we go situation, well, that's exactly where we come in. We help contractor couples build the systems, the contracts, and the client communication frameworks that protect their time, their margins, and their sanity. So if you're ready to stop managing client chaos and start running a business that commands respect from day one, book a free strategy call with our team. Links below. We'd love to help. Your clients are not the problem. The absence of clear, consistent, embedded standards is the problem. And the beautiful thing about that is standards are completely within your control. State it clearly, embed it in your processes, and train your clients from day one. That's how you build a client experience that works for them and for you. One that protects your time, your margins, and your marriage from the kind of slow, steady drain that comes from a business with no edges. Now, we've talked about clarity between you and your spouse, delegation, money conversations, and client boundaries. But there's one more relationship in your business we haven't tackled yet. And for a lot of contractor couples, it's the one that causes the most day-to-day friction. Your team. Specifically, what happens when your team can't seem to function without you in the middle of everything? Well, in the next video, we're talking about how to build a team that doesn't need you to babysit it. That one's coming up next week, so make sure you're subscribed, and I will see you there. This has been Built for Two, where systems keep your business steady, strategy helps it grow, and building it with your soulmate makes the whole adventure worth it. I hope that you have a fantastic day, and I will see you in my next video.